Hello and welcome to part 3 of this FtB University series. I promise today we're going to look at some mods. Um, the first steps of, I think, really just the bread and butter mod that usually ends up in every mod pack, Tinker's Construct. If you're not familiar, you should be, and in a moment you will be. So you'll see me as I have this footage sped up. I'm just walking around collecting materials. And I might as well mention that the reason I'm keeping most of this footage in is because even though I've got a lot of video taking up space on my hard drive, there really isn't a lot of footage of most of the playthrough. So I'm just keeping as much as I can and I'll talk over the rest. So now that I have basic materials, I have a little farm going, I take a look at this compacting drawers recipe, I realize, oh, I need redstone and iron. I click these prefabs that I got from the beginning and I see, oh, these are actually kind of complex to make. You need a lot of either diamonds or a lot of compressed cobblestone. So there's a lot of work to be done before I could create any of these besides the ones that they gave me. What I am about to do is take a look at the rest of the quest book with this little menu on the left. And I see that I've looked at the getting started, and then there's this introduction section. And this is where one of the first mods shows up. This is Tinker's Construct. And this is one that I've seen in a lot of mod packs. All you have to do is click this check mark, I guess, to get the book. Usually you have to do a little bit more to get the book, but they just give it to you pretty much for free. And it starts teaching you about how to use the mod. Now, I've used this mod before, and I know the basics of it. And I think really there's little in the quest book that teaches you about it. They mostly tell you to just use this manual. The idea of Tinker's Construct is create custom tools. So instead of your regular Minecraft pickaxe that uses a stick as a handle and, iron or diamond or gold as the pickaxe head, you can actually make the handle out of almost any material. You can make it out of stone, you could make it out of wood, or you could make the handle out of diamond if you really, really wanted to. Now, each of the materials, like wood or diamond or iron, they not only have different durabilities and such, but they also have special properties. Like, for example, I think copper has the dwarven property, which I think just increases mining speed at lower altitudes, like lower Y levels, which is really cool. I like the depth and the mechanics of the materials that you use. It feels like you're creating a more customizable experience, and I think that's really what most of Minecraft should be about. So I think this mod does a really good job. Now, in my hands, I have the first component of what I need to get started with Tinker's Construct. I think it's called a pattern bench or a pattern builder. And the idea of Tinker's Construct is you actually have to create little patterns to imprint your materials onto in order to build tool parts. And at first, you can only use simple materials like stone and wood. In order to use metals like, well, say iron or copper, you have to create a smeltery so that you can smelt them down. That smeltery takes lava. I think there's a smaller version of it that will take any kind of fuel like coal or charcoal. But the one you want to go for is the one that uses lava. It's a little bit involved to make. You need a lot of sand, a lot of clay, and that can sometimes be hard to come across if you spawn in the wrong biome. But I think in this biome, I have plenty of materials around me. So here's the pattern menu, and you can see that you can make a whole bunch of different tool parts. All you need is a pattern on the left side, and then the materials in the next slot. Now, I think one of the most impactful items that Tinker's Construct adds to the game is this crafting workbench, which is essentially a crafting table, but the difference is that it keeps the recipe materials in the crafting slots as you're making it. And now I'm going to speed up this next section because instead of going ahead with the mod and working through things, I just kind of tidy this place up. I see it's about to be nighttime, so I'm lighting up the area, the immediate area, and I'm going to just kind of wall myself in to keep myself safe. I don't know why, but I'm playing extra scared this playthrough. The yellow X's you see on the ground, by the way, in case you're curious, it's a feature of this mod pack and many others. If you press F7, it shows you all of the spots that a monster can spawn on. So a yellow X indicates that a monster will spawn there during the nighttime. A red X, you'll see more of those underground, but also in poorly lit areas, in the overworld above sea level or above the cave systems. A red X indicates that a monster can spawn there at any time, night or day. So now that I have a little bit of a safety setup here, I go ahead and start proceeding with the mod, and I see that, okay, I need to create a tinker station, something that allows me to actually create the tools once I have the parts. And you can see that there's a little bit of tediousness involved. First of all, you need a lot of these pattern templates, and in order to get those, you need a lot of wood, you need to make a lot of sticks. That's fine. That's something you do in Minecraft anyway, but it's just another item. It's another thing to take up space in an inventory. And with such a variety of items already in my inventory from running around and hitting things, you can see that it's just going to get confusing to keep things in here. So, I see, oh, I made another crafting station. Oops, what was that recipe again? And then I'm getting all confused. But what you see here with me floundering kind of helps illustrate one of the reasons I like using this mod pack to learn about the game so much. I don't have to go back to the wiki, in another tab on my computer. I can just open up this little book and it shows me, oh, this is the recipe. And I say, oh, okay, that's what it was. I was thinking of a different recipe. So on we go. We place this down next to the other pieces and you can see, okay, here's how we can create some tools. Now, watching this back, I'm a little frustrated with myself because I just flounder a bit as I try to remember what I'm supposed to do with all these parts. The idea here is you take materials like wood or cobblestone, you put it in that little ingot slot, and you create whichever part you need to create the tool. But once you have the parts, you have to bring them in here, select one of these templates, like a sword. Takes 2 handles and a small blade. So if you're going to make a sword, you got to select, let's say, the small blade, pull it out here, and then you got to select tool handles. And here I'm not sure why I hesitate. Maybe I don't want to make a handle out of stone. And as I hover over the stone tool handle in the inventory, you see it says Stonebound 1. So this Stonebound 1 ability that will go on a tool if you use a stone material will actually mine faster as the materials, or as the tool's durability decreases. So as you mine more and more, the tool gets more and more used up. It'll start to mine faster, but at the cost of, the tool does less damage at lower durability. So it's just this extra level of depth that really allows you to pick and choose, okay, this is what I want to make my pickaxe out of, but not necessarily make my sword out of. As a sword gets more and more used up and it's going to do less damage, well, it's not going to be as effective a weapon against monsters. It's an extra layer of depth that, vanilla Minecraft doesn't have with its tool systems. Sure, Minecraft has its enchantment systems, but the progression of materials you use to create tools is very linear. Ultimately, you just go for diamond, and then in the newer versions, you go for netherite, and those are just the best ones to use. There's a lot more different materials in this mod that just have different abilities that you might want to use, even if the durability is not as great, or even if the speed is not as great as a diamond pickaxe. Now, the trade-off is you can't enchant Tinker's Construct tools. I think that's partly to balance things out. So there's always, use for regular vanilla Minecraft tools. I think namely the Silk Touch enchantment is something that I don't think you can get on Tinker's Construct tools. So there's always going to be use for the vanilla tools in a playthrough like this. And right here, you might even want to pause the video and just take a look at, the different stats that each material gives you. If I hover over the stone-bound stat too, or ability, it'll tell me kind of what to expect from a tool that uses stone as part of its materials. But that's sort of a breakdown of the early bits of Tinker's Construct, and I think it's a good place to end the video as it's getting kind of long. So I'll say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.